Have you ever had those moments in your life where, in just a split second, things can change instantly? It's like you knew that if you just took those extra few seconds, that extra minute to do it a little bit more safely, but you're too lazy to do it. And that's the reason why it causes you like pain or injury. It's happened to me so many times, and I feel like I should know better. That I It's like these moments teach you so much about how a little bit of impatience, you know, can cause so much more damage. And I realized that like if I was just a little bit more patient and did things a little bit more properly, it would save me so much heartache and headache and pain. And so I want to talk about just some things that I've experienced in my life, more so in the gym. Okay, that there's these moments where I knew that I just needed to be a little bit more smarter, and I could have saved myself months and months of rehab and just trying to rebuild my body. So there's this one time where I was at the gym with my friend, and we were man, we like I just started getting into fitness, and I was making some newbie gains, like really good newbie gains. I got to a point where I was finally able to lift 4 plates on a deadlift. And I just remember that day we were like, let's do it. We have built up the strength. We were working out together week after week, and we finally got to a point where we felt confident enough to attempt this. And um I I don't think I had a belt at the time. I don't remember having a belt. But during my setup, okay, for the 4 plate deadlift, I was doing the cues that I normally do, but I just remember for a split second I knew my hips were too high. And instead of making that just slight adjustments like early on, it could have saved me from the injury that was just about to take place. And so I did it. Okay. So I did the 4 plate deadlift. I did it for like 2 reps, and I felt so good. Right. And it wasn't even the pain during the deadlift. It was like the day after that I actually felt it. And I think I knew what the cause was because he recorded me and I saw the footage, and I was like, yep, my hips were way too high. And for some reason, from then on, I just I lived through this like immense back pain for 6 months. And injury and pain has got to be the biggest teacher in your life, because it's when you are injured and when your health is not there that you are scrambling so much just to get back to normal, just to get back to a healthy status in your life again. And so, yeah, I ended up finding this guy online. It's called, I think his name was Dr. McGill. I don't remember his full name, but he introduced, or he had this thing where he specializes in lower back pain. And he had these 3 exercises called, and they were called the Big Three, the McGill Big Three. And if I remember correctly, it's like you do a bird dog, you do like a modified sit up, and then like a modified side plank. But all these things were to help you build a stabilized core. And I just did this over like 6 months. I was trying to do it every other day and to really rebuild my back, because man, it was like bending hurts. Like putting on my socks was a challenge. Getting up from out of the bed, oh man, like it was a rough 6 months. And even going to the gym was super discouraging. Like I was trying to do deadlifts again. I was slowly easing myself into it, and I started back at 1 plate. And oh man, did that ever like, oh, just that feeling of dread where it's just like you have to start from ground zero again. And so it's so when you take this idea and when you look at it, it's like just take those few extra steps, in your decision making. Is what I'm doing right now, is it the best way? Like, is there anything that could prevent any pain points later on, And not even just that injury. Okay, I had that injury and I got over 6 months, and I took the proper steps for recovery. I did those exercises and the stability work and working on my lower back, and I ended up reaching a new peak. And I ended up deadlifting, I think, 435. And then afterwards, I took a 6 month break from the gym. I don't know what happened. I think it's because, oh no, I know. It's because I started doing personal branding content and then I got so heads down on that. So for 6 months, I did not go to the gym and I was just hard focused on just creating content. Um, but for the past 6 months, again, I've got back into my fitness and I've made, really big steps into getting healthy again and focusing on that. But there was this another moment, like maybe a month ago, and I injured my wrist. I injured my right wrist. And so I have a membership at this other gym that's just down the street. It's like 24/7 24/7 access. And it's a little bit of an old school gym. Okay. Think about like those old school like boxing gyms, and then they have like all the weights on the side, but they're not the newest equipment or anything. And so they didn't have like how like in those commercial gyms they have like the incline bench setups, so they didn't have one there. And I had to kind of MacGyver my own, and there's just like this, I guess there was like a power rack or something. I had to bring a bench over, and then I was just setting up. Okay. And just right before that, I think I was doing, what was I doing? I think just right before that, before I was doing an incline bench, I think I was squatting in the same power rack. And then I had like I left the plate on the bar on both sides, and then I went to go set up um the bench, and I just knew that the height was wrong. And in that split moment, I was like, you know what? It's fine. I've done one plate incline benches before. Instead of taking the weight off and just so that I can lower it properly and safely, I kept it on there. And oh my God, I wasn't prepared for it. I pushed the weight up, and then instantly it kind of just fell really fast. And I was like, oh crap. And I caught it, and both my wrists were like this. And then I just felt the pressure on my right wrist because my wrist was bent. And that's like, 135 pounds, just really fast. Boom. And I was like, oh crap. And then I re racked it. But in that moment, that's when I knew I screwed up. And it's like, holy cow. Oh, and it screwed up my wrist. And I felt like I went backwards in my progress that I was making at the gym. I was making really good strides. And I think it's because I got so comfortable and complacent. And I think there's just like this ego that I had. I'm like, I can do this easy, right? I've done it before. I've done it so many times. But that's where it gets you, man. That's where things sneak up on you and life hits you super fast. And yeah, it was the worst timing because I think in a couple weeks after that, I was getting back into intermediate volleyball. And so we were just about to start a new season. And yeah, so yeah, that really taught me a lot. And then I was just trying to just really be patient at the gym again. And I took things slower this time. I kind of, when I was doing my reps, I was doing it slow and controlled, nice, good form all the way for the weight. And when I'm like getting everything set up, I did it properly just so I don't get injured again. And injury is the greatest teacher because it teaches you so much patience, to be patient with yourself, but also be patient in the moment. Because a lot of times we're just go, go, go. We're not taking the time to really assess the decisions we're making in these moments. And those moments of laziness, man, you gotta be really aware. You gotta be like self-aware and hyper-aware. So that's just my encouragement to you, and my piece of advice is take your time. Okay. Not only does this advice apply to the gym, this applies to everything else in your life. Okay. When you're about to make a decision in your life, and it's something very monumental, it's a key pivotal moment in your life, and and then you have that mindset where it's just like, oh, this is okay. I'm going to do this instead and I'll worry about it later. Right. But then what ends up happening most of the time, you end up facing these hardships because of your momentary laziness in those moments to make those decisions. Like, what did I just say, right? It's just take it from a guy who's injured himself on multiple occasions and paid the price for it. And I could even think about other things in my life where I knew that in a split moment I screwed up, or like I didn't make the right decision, and then later on down the road it bit me in the ass, right? And I'm sure you've had those moments too. And if you're brave enough, share that with me. Share that life lesson that you learned where you felt like you knew that you could have done something better and approached it differently and saved you the headache later on, kind of thing. But that's just my life advice right now. That's just something that was in my heart that I want to share because I'm going through another injury. I have a knee injury, and I knew that going into volleyball, I was going to be dealing with this. And just my last video yesterday, I told you guys that I'm dealing with jumper's knee. And so leading up to my volleyball season, I didn't prepare myself. I knew that if I just spent a little bit of time every single day to get my knees prepped again, that I would save myself an injury like I'm feeling right now. But did I do that? No, I waited like a week. I procrastinated like a week or two before the season started, and now I'm facing the repercussions. And so hopefully with the next few weeks as I'm doing volleyball, I can be smart about the way that I'm playing and just how I'm preparing my knees to take the brunt of the load. And you know, I am making some headway on it. I've lost about 20 pounds, so that should be taking a lot more stress off my knees. And I'm aiming to lose another 25 pounds so that I can be lighter and stronger. And so yeah, it's teaching me just to be a little bit more smart about how I approach life in general. So yeah. All right. So that's all I got, cousin. This is day 7 of the 75 hard challenge. If you are enjoying the videos, do subscribe. I know that this is like a second channel, but I'm putting a lot of effort into this and just showing up. I just want to show up and be present and just share what's on my heart, on my mind, unfiltered, but really just help give you like the lessons that I've learned throughout my life, so that there's things that you can learn from me, from all the mistakes that I've made, from everything that I've learned in my past 30 years of living here on this earth. So yeah, stay blessed, cousin. See you in the next video. Peace.